Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from Gold Independent 30 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and says, am I the arsehole for telling my husband his job as a stay-at-home dad is only easy because I help out? I tried to post it on other subreddits, but they keep removing it because my account is new. I'm writing this from the guest bedroom because my husband and I had a fight. So the thing is, my husband is a stay-at-home dad. 3 years ago he wanted to quit his job and take care of the house and children. 6 female and 2 male. I work a decent job and earn most of the money. My husband takes pride in being a stay-at-home dad. He always brags about how it's the easiest job in this world and women are just complaining for no reason. But the truth is, I help him with the chores as much as I can. In the morning I wake up and fix the breakfast for them. My husband gets our daughter ready for school. I also do meal preps for lunch. All he has to do is assemble them and cook it. I pack my and my daughter's lunch. When I'm at work, he does the cleaning and spends time with our son or does his thing. Later when I come home, I cook the dinner and give my son a bath. Help my daughter with her schoolwork, or I play with them for some time until bedtime. Besides that, whenever we do laundry, I fold the clothes and he washes and puts them away. And during deep cleaning of our house, we split tasks 50-50. I also handle all the doctor's appointments. The system works really well, but I hate that he thinks my contribution is not enough. That he does all the chores and I do not lift a finger. Moreover, he has a blog and TikTok where he films his days. He also makes posts about how easy it is to be a stay-at-home dad and women just complain and are full of it. It is the easiest job in this world. I'm glad he likes it, but I hate he thinks he is superior to everyone and invalidating their experience. I grew up in a house where my dad didn't even lift a finger and my mum did literally everything around the house. He was the fun dad doing bare minimum, so I do not want that to happen to my husband. Also, it is my house too. I believe if both people do chores, the stress becomes less. Also, I know many of my friends who struggle with doing chores as a stay-at-home mum. I also know women who work and still do the majority of the chores, and his comments make me irritated. So yesterday, my friend Ashley came to visit. She is a mother of 2. Her son probably has ADHD and very much active. She has trouble handling her son and gets no help from her husband. Her son breaks a cup in our house. Ashley was saying sorry. My husband cleaned it up and she was complaining how exhausted she is. My husband scoffed and told her, "You must be doing the parent thing wrong because I am a stay-at-home parent too, but I never had a problem. My wife barely does anything around the house and it is so easy. Maybe I should give you a lesson or two." I can see Ashley was upset. I understand why. Later that day I told him what he said to Ashley was very rude. My husband acted as if he said nothing wrong and was honest. I pointed out that he doesn't do all the chores. I help him with at least 40%. That's why he thinks it is easy. He again argued that those chores are not significant compared to what he does. I told him he is being mean to everyone. We got lucky that our kids are easy and not active. Most of the kids are hard to handle. He again scoffed and said, "How hard can it be?" We argued about this and he told me I am being ungrateful because no man would ever sacrifice like he did. I am upset and gave him some space. Was I wrong to point it out? Edit. Just want to point out I have no issues of him being a stay-at-home dad. I just don't like his attitude towards it and the way he thinks it's the easiest job in this world, because to me and most of the people it is still a job that has no vacation days. Nah, that would proper wind me up, I think. And I'd have to explain or list down everything that you're contributing to the household that you're doing instead of him, and that's what's making it so easy for him to do what he's doing now. And then potentially let him do all these things. Let him experience all this so he can recognize how much you are contributing towards the house. The whole post is just awful from him, but the way he spoke to the friend and said, "You must be doing this whole thing wrong." I just can't. How does he think that and think that's an okay thing to say to someone who's struggling? Saying, "I never had a problem. I'll give you a lesson or two." Oh my word, what a Burke. Nick Pick says, "Why are you okay with him putting down your contributions and devaluing you, especially in front of your children? His attitude is a problem and your children are being exposed to this daily. You would be the arsehole to yourself if you allow this to continue. Stop enabling him to put others down and stand up for yourself. Stop doing his job for him and let him step up, or as he is apparently telling others, doing everything around the house. If he wants a chance to prove to everyone that being a stay-at-home dad is so easy, then you should support him and give him that chance by letting him do what he claims to already have to do, which is everything. Our organization says I was a stay-at-home mum. My children are now adults. I did all of the household chores, laundry, cooking and cleaning. I did all of the yard work. We had an acre. I volunteered in their schools and music programs. That often took 30 hours a week. My husband did story time and often took care of bedtime. I considered the household tasks to be my job. I wouldn't have dreamt of telling someone else how they were doing it wrong. What an entitled and terribly rude comment. And as he has a blog to tell strangers how to better manage their time. He doesn't even cook dinner for heaven's sake. Please. Silver says, not the arsehole, he sounds exhausting and unaware of how self-centered he is. Parenting isn't a competition between him and you. It's a team sport where you both have to participate. Sounds like you are doing more in context, in the home and outside the home. Love seeing a stay-at-home dad, but he needs a swift kick in the ass for being full of himself and not valuing your contributions and his misogynistic comments. Stop doing what you are doing and let him truly be a stay-at-home dad, not the arsehole. And one more comment which says, I've worked jobs with big OT and I've been a stay-at-home dad for a while now, and it's as much as full-time job as any other. Worse even, since you're never really off the clock. And days where I get bogged down fixing something or doing annual maintenance on the house or the like, it can be exhausting to catch back up on regular daily chores like dishes while the baby is demanding a bottle, a kid needs to be put to bed, and all daylight is already gone. If my wife helps out with the laundry or something, you can count on my noticing and appreciating it. Sounds like your husband is being spoiled by you and doesn't even realize it. Honestly, maybe you should be a bit of an arsehole about this. Don't help out at all for a few weeks, but keep asking why things aren't done. He'll figure it out. The OP comes back into the post and says, okay, I took everyone's advice and stopped working my part of the chores. I did tell him beforehand, since he thinks my contribution to the housework is nothing, then I will stop doing everything altogether. I told him since he thinks being a stay-at-home dad is easy, then he should have the full experience of it. My friend's husband doesn't even lift a finger around the house, so I wouldn't too. He was obviously upset. He wanted to argue I cannot do this to him. He even tried to pull the incompetence card. I told him I'm not going to do my portion of the job at home. I also give the typical excuse, I work all day at my office so that we can survive on one income. It is selfish for him to expect me to do the housework. That's what I did. I didn't do any housework. I didn't wake up in the morning and make breakfast. My husband had to do it. It wasn't hard for him, but I can see he was moody. I asked him to prepare my lunch because that is also my job. He refused at first, but then I told him. He said he will do all the household chores too. That includes my lunch as well. He only packed me a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I didn't do meal prep for lunch. It was his to figure out. At night when I came home, I didn't make dinner. I asked him to do it. He was shocked but did it anyways. I didn't give my son a bath. He is fussy, which pissed my husband off. I only helped my daughter with her homework. I didn't help him with the laundry. The first few days he didn't say a word, but after a week it was showing that he is getting exhausted. He was getting more and more angry at small stuff, and usually cleaning would cool him off. But whenever he sees a mess, he throws a tantrum. In the weekends, I went to my mother's house to relax. That weekend, we were supposed to clean our bathrooms. He did that all by himself. As the days progressed, I can see him being really angry at me. Even I admit, it has affected our intimacy a lot. At last, after 2 weeks, he told me, basically yelled, that I proved my point. Things are back to normal, but I can see he is very distant with me. Last night, I asked him to talk to me. He said he knew what game I was playing, but he did not appreciate me treating him like garbage and not considering his feelings. I told him that it was his words that being a stay-at-home dad is easy. I just gave him the full experience of it. He kept denying that I should have been more supportive. All these weeks he felt like nobody and so underappreciated. He felt invisible. He started to hate me for not giving a fuck and dumping everything on him. He is still not talking to me. We have booked a couples therapy session next week. Let's see if our relationship sustains or not. Someone says to OP in this one, is alimony a thing where you are from? OP says, we live in a no-fault state. Someone says to OP, that has nothing to do with whether or not alimony gets rewarded. You best check that out. And OP says, we don't have a prenup. He's been out of work for 3 years. Maybe I do have to pay him alimony. But I'm not sure if there's any option where even if he gets alimony, he has to find a job within a certain amount of time, otherwise his spousal support will be revoked. Someone says, as he is a stay-at-home parent, he will likely get primary custody as it is seen as better for the kids consistently wise. OP says, I'm not planning on divorce. I believe in our marriage. I'm hopeful we will get through it. If divorce comes, I will be pushing for 50-50. And OP updates again, saying this will probably be my last and final update. I wanted to let you guys know we are not getting a divorce like some of you had hoped and cursed me out in my PMs. Like seriously, who wishes to a stranger that their husband should cheat on them? We did go to counselling, and yes, I sincerely apologise for my childish behaviour because of a Reddit post I made. We discovered a lot of things about us and our relationships at the counselling sessions. Firstly, I apologised to him and explained why I did that. I wanted him to feel like it is not easy if you do not have help. I also mentioned my mother's experience in being the caretaker of my family and doing it all alone is exhausting. Which I think now was a stupid way to get my point across, but I was hurt and very annoyed that he thinks women just complain about housework when most of them, I'm sure, doesn't have help from their spouses. He expressed that he gets it, and those few weeks when I didn't help really took a toll on him. He doesn't get tired easily, but since he was doing all of it, it was tiring him. I acknowledged that. After a lot of talking and communicating, we came to the root cause. He said that sometimes he feels insecure about himself, like he is not doing enough for us. All of his guy friends have jobs, they provide for their family. His friend bragged about taking his wife to vacation in Greece. He felt small compared to that because he only made us dinner and gave me a massage. On the other hand, I gifted him a very expensive watch. He felt like he was supposed to be the provider of this family, but he feels really small because I'm out here doing good in my career and he feels stuck. It was one of those moments that made me cry. I liked it when he made dinner for me and gave me a massage. He is a good cook. I asked him if he wants to go back in the workplace. If that is the case, he will have my full support. I know then things will change a lot. We both have to make compromises, but it will be worth it because I love him and he is the best husband anyone could ask for. He says he doesn't want to handle the pressure of workplace. Last time he crashed and decided to quit. He likes being a stay-at-home dad but also wants to earn, so he's looking for a part-time job while doing what we used to do. I encouraged him to look into freelancing and remote work. He did find one, but it is low pay, so the search for a decent job is still in the hunt. And he did apologize to my friend Ashley. He realized that not everyone has it easy. I mean, we hit the jackpot with the kids because they are pretty quiet. People have different struggles. I know he is sincere because he deleted his blog post about being a stay-at-home dad being easy. Also, unrelated, Ashley is getting a divorce. Good for her, I guess. We are fine, our children are fine. We still have one more session of therapy left. Our intimate lives are better. We found a better way to communicate with each other rather than being petty. I was scared that our marriage will collapse, but I'm glad we stood strong. And there were some people calling, what was done to get her point across as childish. Other people saying, that they disagree and they think OP went about it the right way. And in the end, their relationship has come out of it and sounds like it is stronger than it was before. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update from LuckyGrass7069 and says, Am I the arsehole for giving my son non-vegan food behind my wife's back? I am 32 male and my wife is 33 female. We've been married for 8 years and have a 12-year-old son together. About 6 years ago, my wife decided to go vegan. She was sent the documentary Dominion by a vegan friend of hers and ever since has said non-vegan food is revolting and refuses to eat it. After a long conversation, I agreed to go vegetarian and be vegan in the house and around her, which she was happy with. She also decided our son should be vegan, which after seeing a dietitian I also agreed with. Things have been fine with this arrangement until a few months ago when I began finding wrappers from non-vegan candy and even burgers from McDonald's in my son's school bag, which he had been buying with chore money. I had a conversation with my son and he confessed he felt lonely and excluded eating vegan around his friends, and that they always had much better candy than he did and it wasn't fair. I decided I didn't want him spending his pocket money on snacks and throwing out the vegan snacks we actually brought him, instead of buying games, etc. It made no sense, but I also know the way my wife feels about non-vegan products. So I began buying my son what he wanted on our way to football practice instead. Long story short, my wife recently found out what has been going on and completely flipped out. She called me an animal abuse enabler and a few other names and said I was corrupting our son. Now she is not speaking to me. Our son panicked and told her I bought the snacks for him and he didn't know they weren't vegan. I didn't blame him for that, he just doesn't want to be in trouble with mum. Am I the arsehole here? But Seeking Beskar says not the arsehole. I think my answer at this point would be, our son is old enough to decide what he wants to eat and what his dietary preferences are. If we put him into a situation where he feels like he has to hide things from us, that's on us. If your wife is confronting him about this in any kind of intimidating way or trying to make him feel guilty with the same phrases she's using with you, I prioritize your son and his needs and well-being. Shit like this can cause a lot of problems. Got a Spoof 'em all says, as a vegan, not the arsehole. We humans are designed to eat meat. It's a perfectly normal thing for our bodies to do. In fact, I'm the abnormal one not eating meat. I'm old enough to have made that choice and I'm happy. Your son shouldn't have it forced upon him at such a young age when building bonds is so important. His body, his choice, and you're doing nothing wrong supporting him. Not the arsehole. Tut says, not the arsehole, dietary preferences are personal. You have graciously gone along with hers, which I assume is coming from a place of love and respect. Your son grew up with her preferences and is now realizing that he has different preferences. The respect thing for your wife would be to accept that her son and you are allowing bodily autonomy around food choices and that she isn't allowed to force hers onto people who aren't okay with them. She needs to realize that her will isn't law, and you need to realize that it won't help anyone, her included, to avoid confrontation by obfuscating and lying. Support your son's choices openly, and if she goes to war over this, you need to support your son and not her. Also, veganism isn't morally superior. No matter what you eat, both humans and other animals suffer because of things like pest control, harvest deaths, and undocumented immigrants work in fields for a pittance. Fly Guy says, everyone sucks here. Only a little bit OP, but you shouldn't have lied to your wife. Would I have done something similar? Probably, but you need to seriously sit down as a family and discuss this. Don't let your wife bully your son into being a vegan if he doesn't want to be. He's 12 now and old enough to make choices about his diet. This is honestly unfair on him, and he shouldn't have to hide away what he's eating to his parents. That's seriously unhealthy. Your wife also needs to accept that not everyone is going to share her opinions, and if her son wants to eat meat, there's nothing she can do to stop him. But guilting him into being a vegan is not the way to do it. And one more comment which says, everyone sucks here. There is no zealot like a convert. Your wife is an asshole for forcing her belief system on others. Veganism can be a belief system with the same moral superiority complexes as any religion. Soft arsehole for you for enabling this. Karen when she exploded instead of putting your foot down. I feel for your son, so let me tell you a story. My parents converted to a very fundamentalist Christianity when I was 10 and became more deeply ingrained in the church for the next 2 years. When I was 12, church was almost an everyday thing and the strictures were non-trivial. No books, no music, no birthdays or holidays. Most of the kids went to a church school, etc. Resistance, questioning, or anything other than abject obedience was met with escalating pressure, bullying behavior, insults, punishment, and violence. All connections with my extended family were cut. What did I learn? I learned to lie, sneak, and hide things like a pro. Whose footsteps were whose, controlling my face to disguise my feelings, and most importantly, how to really, thoroughly hate my parents without them knowing. When I graduated high school, I was gone the next day. Since I was under 18 and had no family to lean on, I was homeless until college started in the fall. I didn't talk to my folks unless I had to for years, which also meant I couldn't talk to my brother, and eventually I didn't have to. Now, 30 years on, they've exited the cult and their zealotry, but their relationship will never recover. Pleasantries a few times per year. OP, don't be that guy. Zealotry is zealotry. Let your son have a life of his own choosing. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What would you advise to OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. Truly, it's absolutely incredible. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.